Hello and welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name's Adam Smith. In the very last video, we finished up the end of the third round there. We are moving into the fourth round. I've gone ahead in advance and shuffled all the decks up. There are no Night Demons left for this particular scenario, so we're just leaving them out of the play. We do still have a Deep Terror left. He's over here. We're going to try our best to kind of ignore him. He's going to be more of a pain for us. But we also still have quite a bit in order to... We still have quite a bit in terms of options and things like that, but we only have like the Deep Terrors left. So everything's been shuffled, everything's ready to go, we're ready to rock. And ironically, we need to actually kill a rock. So we actually need to get as close as possible to get to this rock. I know there's a lot of rocks here, it's hard to figure out what's going on and which rock we're going after. We need to break this one. It's been specified as being a door or locked door. It's also specified as having damage, so the only way we can destroy this particular rock is not by using some fancy card that says we can destroy an obstacle. We actually have to do damage to this, and in our particular case, at least if I'm looking at the scenario correctly and doing the math, our current scenario level is 2 still, so for solo, so 2 times 2 is 4, plus 4 is 8, times the characters of 2 is 16. So we need 16 damage on this rock in order to kill it. And we'll just kind of store the damage here as we hit it. So that's our main focus now. So again, Adam, I think, mentioned this in a prior video. He was like, get to that rock and get out of this room. It's not a room to just hang out in, and we've learned that very quickly. So we're going to go ahead and pick our cards and see if we can do some crazy damage. So one thing I think is really cool, and I haven't used yet at all, is the Dangerous Contraption card. I pulled this as a level 4 card for the Tinker, and I haven't actually used it yet, but I do need the move 4. So the cool thing is what I could do potentially this round is, instead of inflicting any damage on the door, I could just go ahead like this and do a move 4, which would get me really close, and then we could get the battle bot on the board and just hope that that would allow him to, or allow for us to get some extra damage on the door. We're gonna have to be really, really careful. We also have this treasure token here that if we land on, we get, so there's no point in not doing that. We wanna get there. And of course, based on this scenario, it seems like certain spots are safe, so you know, things where there's a coin essentially and a treasure, we're safe to stand in those spots. Anywhere else is very, very dangerous. So we want to try to get to those spots, hunker down, and just bash this door to pieces. So let's go ahead. I think these two cards are the cards we want to use. The only downside would be is if the Deep Terror goes first and somehow can hit us, but I'm pretty far away, so I think I should be okay with the Tinker to take it a little slower this turn and not go early. Now with the Cragheart, on the other hand, I have no reason to put out any kind of summons. I just want to get as close to the door as possible. So we're going to go ahead and end up using his move 4 card here, which will get him 1, 2, 3, 4. I can get right beside the door, which is exactly what I want. And then from here, I'm going to just basically attack the door with as much damage as I possibly can. Now, just so that we're clear here, because the rules will actually state in the scenario rules in terms of when something is considered as destroying an obstacle. It says when an obstacle is specified as having hit points in the scenario book, it can be attacked and will be destroyed and removed from the board when it drops below 1 hit point. Obstacles with hit points can only be destroyed through damage and not through other character abilities. So in other words, we can't use character abilities, and from what I understand from that, you can't put like wound tokens on it. Like, it's literally from attacks. You can't immobilize or wound a door, at least because it's considered an obstacle. So we're going to be going with that ruling in this particular situation based on the rulebook. And we're going to go ahead and try to do some massive damage. So again, we got a 4 movement here, which is good. Not great, but good. And then we can go ahead and put together a nice attack, maybe something like this, an attack 3, and see if we can do some damage. So let's do that. Those are our cards. Let's see what the Deep Terror does. 60. Okay, so he's going to kind of land in between us. So that's not too bad. And from what I'm seeing here, he's going to attack in kind of like a long path. So he's going to be able to hit everything that goes along this way. But other than that, we're okay. So as long as we don't land in one of these spots, then we're golden. So let's go ahead with the first character. First character is the Cragheart. So the Cragheart's going to do what he needs to do, which is move. He's going to get himself 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's going to be right next to the door. From here, he's going to start just pounding on this door. So he's done his move now. We can discard this. He's going to go ahead and do his attack 3. Now, I could technically use my Eagle Eye Goggles, which I have not used yet, to gain advantage. But I know I have in this deck here of cards, which I currently don't have access to because it's in my discard pile, but I do have a really nice kinetic attack 4 that at some point I think would be the best time to put this Eagle Eye Goggles in for. So I'm just going to use this one for the regular attack for now. You know, again, it's an exhausted card, so in order to get it back, I have to long rest, and that wastes a full turn, which is a full round, which is, you know, nightmares happen. So this is still solid. So we'll go with this and see what happens. Oh my gosh. I like spiel on like the entire time about how much I'm not going to use Eagle Eye Goggles, and then this happens. So there you go. Lesson learned. When you're thinking of using the Eagle Eye Goggles, use them in every situation, because that always happens. Okay, so that's bad. The elemental track is going to go back to the strong there. We don't end up immobilizing him. We can't immobilize a rock. We can't immobilize an obstacle. It's strictly got to be hit from damage. It's got to take damage in order for it to be removed. Once it gets underneath these 1 hit points or to the 0 mark, then it is gone. So sadly, this is discarded. Nothing really comes of it. The Kraggar's turn is essentially a waste, which is too bad. Now we're going to go ahead with the Deep Tears. Deep Tears are just going to attack, but they can only attack in a row, and thankfully we are not in any kind of parallel or not parallel, but any kind of singular row that he can do. So he's going to attack against flat edge. So we attack this way essentially and this way, and he misses both of us. So then this Deep Terror attack is completely useless, which is perfect. So now we're going to go ahead with the Tinker, and the Tinker is going to go ahead and move 4. So Tinker's going to go 1, 2, 3, and he might as well land on the coin. There's no reason not to be here. So the next issue is going to be, well, I guess the next thing is the Tinker will take the coin, because that's good. He needs it to be to loot 5 or more money tokens during the scenario, although he's not doing too well with that just yet. I've been kind of ignoring that, which is probably not good. But we're going to go ahead and summon a battle bot, and this should be kind of cool and scary at the same time. So I'm going to summon this battle bot. It's actually something that I've stolen from a different game. I think it's very, very cool. I was about to paint it. I've primed it in black. This is actually from the Shadows of Brimstone board game. It's one of the enemies that you can find in Tradera, which is one of the other worlds in the game. And I just thought it looked exactly like this card. I was like, oh, summon BattleBot? Yeah, I got one of those miniatures. So this guy is going to basically summon and sit right here. And thankfully sitting there after the Deep Terror made his attack. So he's okay. The cool thing about him is we're going to gain... I mean, again, he's persistent the entire time. He's going to be a bonus that is in effect until we lose him. So we're going to go ahead and we'll put that right here so we don't forget. He's got 6 health, and he's got 2 attack and 2 movement. So the previous summons that we had, which I believe was a decoy, only had movement and only had health. And so basically he just gets up close and personal with things and just is a source of damage and a tank until he dies. Whereas with this, at least he's doing damage. So we get to attack with him, but we can't attack with him on the turn that he's summoned, so he's not going to do anything this round. We've already used this for its bottom 4 to move the Craighart or the Tinker to here, so this is now discarded. Yes, this is now discarded to this pile. Yes, we used all those, that's correct. Okay, did I bump myself up for the 2 XP? No, I did not. So we're going to bump ourselves up from 4 to 6 because we were able to summon the BattleBot, and that's one of the advantages to doing so is you get 2 XP. So we're done. That's essentially the round, and because the round was so insanely quick, there's no reason not to jump into this into the next one. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to wane things down. We are going to quickly do the flip of the tile to find out what's going to get hit. So it looks like number 3 is getting hit this time. So the stones are falling some more. So let me grab a couple more stones here because this is getting nasty. So here we go. We got another stone that just dropped right here. So that's pretty bad. We got a stone. Now these ones are dropping in decent places for now. I'm happy with these. And then one's going to drop here. Okay, so far so good. Oh my gosh. This one drops right here. Wow. We got really lucky there. I think that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4 threes. Yep. That is all of them. So the room's getting even more cluttered. Somehow we didn't get hit there, which makes no sense to me. But the odds, I guess, are going to get worse for us now that we have a summon on the board. The chances of us getting hit are going to go up. So what do we do now? Well, we've got to wane things down. So this leaf element here, did I already wane this down or not? I got to remember here. I attacked No, I did already weighing that down, so that's already okay. Shuffling wise though, we definitely need to shuffle before the next round, but we are going to tick our round marker to the 5th round because that's where we're heading. This Deep Terror deck definitely needs to be reshuffled, and also our Craighart's Null that we pulled also needs to be reshuffled. So this is kind of this situation right now, guys, as I do this little shuffle here. This is kind of the rut that I find myself in. Should be interesting to see if I can get myself out of it. Can't say that that's going to happen, but we'll see, right? We'll see how this transpires, I guess is the best way to say it. So here's the Deep Terror deck there, and then we just need to grab the modifier cards and do the same thing. I never want to see that Null again. So we're going to bury this halfway through, do a little bit of deck cutting. There we go. Hopefully this never comes back again. We'll split it like this. And we're good. All right, so this is all back. Okay, so what are we gonna do here? Well, we have options. Probably the best thing to do, well, again, we still have 2 cards with the Craigheart, so right away we're gonna go with those 2. One's gonna be an attack, so that's great. We can just do an attack right off the bat. Pushing the target into hexes and obstacles and all this junk, that's not gonna affect it, but the attack 3 is still a solid attack. We also have this card, which allows us to move, heal, and then do another attack. So that's not bad. So we could move. We could even do like I don't know. We'll have to see if we can get the Tinker close enough. Maybe the Tinker can go 1, 2, 3 and land on the chest, and then that way we can heal the Tinker. So that's maybe the best option there. The Tinker could use some healing as well. So that wouldn't be bad, but we really want to focus on attacking. So maybe this is another one to use. We could also go with the attack 5. But we're getting into dangerous territory by using these losing cards, I should say, because the more of these cards we lose, the less options we get back in our hand later, and we still have to get through this tile and end up landing in one of these 5 tiles in the back end without getting destroyed, and that's going to be kind of an issue, I think. Now that I think about it. Yikes. This is going to be quite the craziness. Okay, so what do we do here? Should I use this right now is the question. Yes, it would give us a lot of damage. Yes, that is a big plus. We need 16 damage on that door. It's a lot. On this attack, we could do potentially an attack, attack, attack. This would put 5. If we got no negatives on average, I guess, then averages don't mean much in this game, but 5, 1, and 3. We're looking at 9 damage, so it's more than half, which is good. That would be a very quick way of getting into that room. Might be a good idea. Don't know if it is or not, though. It's tough to say, but I think we should do it. And we also have to remember we have the battle bot here, too. So he's going to be able to move into an advantageous position, although having the Tinker sit here is a bad idea. It'd be better if the battle bot sat here and the Tinker sat here. So if that's the case, and that's okay because range 2, he could still make his attack. So then we just need movement. We need to generate 1, 2, 3 movement. Do we have that ability? Yes, we do, because we have our comfortable shoes, which allow us to move 3. So why don't we use the hook gun to do that? So we're going to have the Tinker go first, and then we'll have the Craigheart go second. So here's my 2 cards. Are you guys ready to see how this is going to pan out? So here we go. We are currently in the 5th round right now. So let's see how this works. We're going to flip the Deep Terror, who's still left on the board. 60, awesome. So he ends up going, and look, he's doing the exact same attack he did last time, except that's bad for this guy, but I'm going to get him out of there as fast as possible so that that won't affect him. Good news. So Tinker gets to go first. This is great. And when the Tinker goes first, the summon goes first before him. So because it was summoned by the Tinker. So I'm going to do a movement now where this battle bot is going to land on this treasure. Now, the thing about the ruling with this is that I can't pick it up. The summon cannot pick up treasure or loot or anything that's sitting on that tile. There's nothing stopping him from going to the tile, but I cannot successfully pick it up. So he's just going to kind of sit on top of it awkwardly and not pick it up if I can even get him to stay there. So yeah, you'll stay there eventually. Anyway, I'll just go like this. This will make it easy. So I'll just chuck him around. So here we go. So he's right there. He's right next to it, which is great. We get to do an attack too because the BattleBot does have an attack too there. So that happens first, and it always uses the Tinker's cards for that attack. So that's really, really huge. It's quite the bonus there, actually. I like that. So let me just double check one thing with the summons just to make sure I don't mess this up. I probably should know this now, but it's actually been a bit since I've had to summon anyone really for anything. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and do an attack. Attack 2, we're doing it against the rock. Let's see what happens. -1, so that means 1 damage. So what we're going to do for this, we're going to use this area right here, and we're going to try to pile all of our damage. So the bot just made an attack, and it was a -1, and we got 1 through. So 1 through on the rock. Now the Tinker is going to get to go. We're going to use the bottom half here for a regular default move 2, but he has comfortable shoes, and when you do that, you get the extra 1 action, which is perfect because it gets him to go 1, 2, 3. So now he's sitting right there. Now he's kind of clumped in with everybody. We're going to go ahead and do the attack 5, which is a nasty attack against the rock. We're going to lose our card, but hopefully this turns into a good thing. Ugh, I was hoping for like a ×2. So that's going to be a 4. So we're not doing too hot with the damage. So we got 5 total now on the door. This card's lost, but I get 2 XP for it. Did I put that in the right file? Yes. And then this is going to go back to 8. So we're doing all right. And then this card's gone because we use it for regular movement. Now we're going to go ahead with the Craigheart. So the Craigheart's got the ability to do a couple attacks here. So first we'll do this one. So we're going to do the attack for the Heaving Swing. So he's going to make this attack. Now I do have the Eagle Eye Goggles. Maybe this is a good time to use it. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe I wait until I short rest at the end of this in order to get that attack 4 and then use it. So for now, I'm going to, again, this may bite me. This may bite me, and I'm saying this right now. It's possible, but I'm going to do it. Okay. Pushing doesn't really matter because we're going after a door. So 0. So we ended up getting a 0, so it's going to be 3 damage going through. Okay, so that's not bad. At least there was no negatives there. So now we're at 8. So we've made it halfway in 1 round. So that's pretty good. And then we're going to go ahead. This one now is complete. We're going to throw this in the discard. And then we're going to do this one. Move 2, heal all adjacent allies, and then attack. So I'm going to go like this. 1, 2. That was exciting, right? So I can heal everybody. I can heal the Tinker up 1. I could heal the BattleBot even as well, but the BattleBot has no damage on him. Now I get to do a regular attack 1, target all adjacent enemies. I'm targeting this guy right here. Ooh, actually, now that I'm looking at that, it says target 1. Ooh, this is where the wording gets weird. Target all adjacent enemies is the... yeah, actually, you know what? The scenario effects, if I remember correctly, does consider even a door with HP being an enemy. I just want to double check on that just to be 100%. Sorry, guys. I'm just doing this on the fly here. Well, yeah, it is an attack 1, so I'm gonna say that it is allowed. I can't see a reason why it wouldn't be. You guys can let me know if I'm wrong, but I think that's completely allowed because it's considered a regular attack. Yeah, it's targeting all enemies, but when you're going ahead and attacking a locked door, or sorry, I guess we're trying to destroy an obstacle. We can only destroy it. It can only be attacked and will be and so that's what we're doing right now. So. It's an enemy to us, essentially. So I'm going to go ahead and say that it's valid to attack. Some others might think it's incorrect, and if I am wrong, please let me know. So I'm going to go ahead and make that attack on this guy, and we got another push, which is useless, and 0. So we only get 1 extra damage on that door, which is not really that big of a deal. All right, so then we're going to go ahead. This card is now discarded. Goes into the pile. The Deep Terrors now get to act, and thankfully our guys we've moved out of the way so that the only angle he has is this way and this way, which don't affect any of our characters, so that's awesome. The next thing we have to do is we have to figure out what and where we're going to be getting hit from. So let's go ahead and flip because this is the end of the round. So before I do anything over here, I'll just flip this over. 4. Okay, so now I gotta drop some more stuff on the board. Now I think I may have actually, potentially, oh no, I didn't run out of rocks yet, but I'm getting low now. So here we go, 4. Well, 4 is this spot, so that's already covered, and that's because I created that earlier. There's a 4 right, oh my gosh, no way. There's a 4 right here. So we are sealed in now, completely sealed in. And then the other one dropped right here. Okay, and then the other one dropped right here. So wow, the number 4's kind of filled everything in, but you can see this is crazy. We just got like enough room to not get hit. We're still in a dangerous spot though, and could get hit at some point in time here, but hopefully not anytime soon. So we'll go ahead and do our end of round stuff. We'll wane things down. We need to shuffle the deep terrors, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. We also have to think about whether we want a short rest. I think this is the right time to do it because it's likely that we'll be able to push through the door in the next turn, and then and again, short resting we can do at the end of every round. So we will go. I've just gone ahead and done a quick shuffle of the deep terrors to get them ready for the next turn. We don't have anything in terms of shuffling from here. In terms of the Tinkerer, we didn't pull anything fancy because we got lots of -1s on our turns. So I think these ones are fine. Yes. Okay, we're good there. So we're going to go ahead and do our shuffling, or our short rest, sorry, for each of the characters. So the Tinkerer is going to go first. We'll go right from the middle. Attack 3, and this enhancement field one. Attack 3. Do I take a damage in order to hold on to this or not? That is the question. Well, what are my other ones like? Ugh. Not powerful at all. That is not the card I want to use. So I'm going to actually take a damage from the Tinkerer in order to keep this card. And now I'm going to shuffle these ones around a bit. And we're going to take one of these because that's my only attack 3 card that I have left on him. I need to keep that for later in case I meet up with some, nasty enemies. So we're going to lose this one. That's actually okay. So we'll go ahead and lose that one. You can see here we're getting dangerously low, and actually the Tinkerer typically has quite a powerful set of cards in his hands in terms of numbers. But you can see already that like things are dwindling down quite fast, and we're going to have to be a little more aggressive here. He's only got 6 more cards. We have to be exhausted and sitting on these spaces before we are down and out. So we've got some serious movement to do, and we need to get through this as soon as possible because it's looking dire. So let's go ahead with the Craigar. Now the Craigar, on the other hand, has a whole bunch of cards. He hasn't been using his cards for lost abilities as often, so that's a good thing. He's been using them for just regular attacks and things like that. So we should be okay with him. This one's going to allow us to lose an attack 3 card, which doesn't make me happy, but with the insane amount of cards that he has, I think that's okay. I think I'm okay with losing that one. So I'm going to say that that's all right. This is going to go into his lost pile, so he's now got 3. I think he's got 3 cards in there now. So we'll go ahead and reset the deck, and that's essentially the end of this round. So now, I mean, you guys are just painfully watching me as I throw these cards all over the floor. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. Making a mess, being smooth as silk on camera. So here we go. So he's got 7 cards, not bad. All right, so here we go. We got all these left, and we actually have quite a few options left. We even have the Cloak of Invisibilities to use later on if we want to, which we might, depending on whatever we run into in here. But that's essentially it, guys. So I'm going to end the episode here. Thumbs up if you like what you see.